Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Welcome to episode 124 of the Go Get That podcast. Happy again to be joined by Elyse as we break down the Charles Schwab Challenge from a redesigned Colonial Country Club. Jordan Spieth back in action is this the third week in a row? Four. Wow. So we're at the end of a 4-week stretch here that's obviously not been very good, but back at a place where he's probably played better than anywhere else in his career. So not the best, obviously not the best form coming in, maybe not the best course fit, but the history here speaks for itself. Another opportunity to really, I guess, turn the season around this week.
Yeah, you mentioned the course fit not being maybe the best, at least currently, which is interesting because last year you would have said the exact opposite. In the previous 8, 9, 10 years, probably Spieth's entire life, you would have said this is a great course for his game. But as we currently stand, Jordan Spieth is not very good from approaches, 100 to 150. Colonial has quite a few of those. The short game hasn't been to Spieth standards, which is at Colonial, short game is kind of magnified and really important for success around there. And driving distance is not as big of a deal at Colonial. It doesn't matter. And right now, Spieth is absolutely bombing the ball off the tee. So it is kind of an interesting contrast in kind of this new version of Spieth in 2024 that we're seeing to this Colonial that, as you mentioned, and I'm sure you'll get into it at some point, has been revamped a little bit. Less bunkers, took out some trees. It looks cool. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And definitely a different test than the past 2 weeks. Wells Fargo and Valhalla, both big golf courses, need to hit it really far off the tee. A lot of long irons. Both played pretty soft. We're expecting maybe a little bit of rain at Colonial, but the word on the ground is firm, hot, windy. So that'll be fun. I'm excited for kind of a winner around 8, 9, 10 under, I think, this week, which will be fun.
You think single digits, huh?
I mean, it's supposed to blow 15 to 20 every day.
That's true.
And if it's going to be 90 plus every day after Friday, that's not the easiest weather to play in, although it might add a little bit of moisture to the greens if it's so humid, but it's going to be a challenge. Colonial is usually pretty tough in general. Last
year, Gorilla won at -8.
Yeah,
Burns won at 9 the year before.
So. Burns was at 9 the year before, and then that was at 21 was Mr. Kokrak, I believe.
Yeah.
At 14, which was obviously a fantastic Sunday. For the Spieth camp.
Threw one away there.
Yeah, he did. That believe he just needed even par to win.
Yeah, and even par was about an average round that day.
And and he shot 73 or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's a new week, new Spieth. Maybe not necessarily in a good way, but
yeah,
I'm excited. So I know you guys talked a little bit of PGA Championship yesterday. Don't believe Elyse was on though. So I don't know. Elyse, do you have any? It could be Spieth. It could not be Spieth. I know Xander finally won a major. And were you on Xander last week?
Not officially, but yes.
Okay, good. So you profited at least a little bit.
Yes.
That's good. Well, what kind of stood out to you about the week in general? Valhalla, the players, Xander.
I mean,
Bryson.
I just sum up it. Bryson stood out a lot. He actually puts like emotion into it and excitement. I still remember him, pumping his both like fists up in the air when he like drove it at the API like to the green on 6, and like some of his fist bumps this past week were electric. He makes the game fun, which a lot of the golfers on PGA Tour these days are like I watch them. Like, part of the reason I can't get behind Scotty is like after he makes like a big putt, like there's no reaction, like zero reaction, no fist pumps, nothing. Like you might as well be like he might as well be a literal robot like playing golf, um, who's not like really programmed to give emotions, but just programmed to like be as really good, like the best golfer in the world. Um, but I don't Valhalla, like I hope we don't really go back there. It had like I remember it being a lot more cool in 2014, but that was because Rory won, and it was like Phil and Ricky were chasing Rory in the dark. Um, but just it was like it's way too easy, that
Yeah.
course. There was no like like really that much penalty for a bad shot. I mean, yes, a couple people made doubles, but like you had to play like you had to miss like really badly to make a double, really, or like you just like three putted a green or something. Just I mean, even the greens were like really like fairly easy, seemed like, to putt. Like bad
Yeah.
putters like making putts from like everywhere. I saw like so many long bombs like drained that week that you like don't see. Um, yeah, so it was cool to watch the end, or to watch on Sunday, just because it's really cool to see Bryson in the mix. Like Hovland gave it a good run. Xander, like it was kind of nice to see him like Xander hold not like fall apart basically. But I wonder if it was a harder test if he would have fallen apart. I mean, like the hole that he hit like very early on, like into the bunker, there was just like no penalty like for putting it into the bunker, and
Yeah.
just yeah, I don't know.
Was
But if there was a major that Xander was going to win, it was going to be this one, as I
yeah.
think I said before. So
It did feel like a pretty defenseless golf course. And I think a little unfortunate with the weather, right? That it was just so soft. But if it's gonna rain that much, then just grow up the rough, I think is the answer. Um, look, you know, Valhalla's cool.
don't arrest Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
that's there. Valhalla will not be seeing any pro golf for a long time, I don't think. That whole morning was hectic, kind of a crazy week, and I will say it delivered the goods. You didn't see any separation at the top really until the end
yeah.
with Xander, Bryce, and Hovland, and I think that's what you want. I know we bash on Torrey Pines sometimes on this podcast, but you also don't get a whole lot of separation out there. So it truly is a battle of, whereas, Valhalla was a lot more under par. Torrey Pines was usually, at least in the US Open settings, even par is a pretty good week out there. So happy to kind of move into the next phase of think, because I want to see some tough golf. Like I want to see, obviously, Ranch. I love it, but they seem to keep tearing it apart, which is unfortunate. Wells Fargo, I mean, obviously Rory and Xander were, I think, the only two guys in double digits, but it still felt a little bit, gettable. And then Valhalla, everybody was under par. So hopefully we get a good test. And I know, Jordan, there were some changes this week to Colonial.
There were.
Mostly on the par threes, right?
Yeah, that's what I forgot
Which is kind of fun.
which Twitter person put that out there to give them credit. But yeah, a few changes. It seems for the most part it's going to be pretty similar. I think Michael Kim put out a tweet about half an hour ago saying he thinks it got a little bit easier, at least talking about the front nine. You look at the yardage, I think the golf course changed, like it got like 80 yards longer. So nothing like too like crazy significant. I think just quoting Michael Kim, he said most of the tee shots look the same or very similar. I don't think the changes were that crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but it should be interesting. Couple holes that might be a little bit tougher in terms of the par threes based on I think the tweet that I saw last night. Again, not exactly sure who that came from. I'm not going to scroll all the way up my feed to try and find it. But yeah, it's I Colonial's not my favorite course. At least it hasn't been. I do respect it for it being a pretty tough test for being pretty short, but I think a lot of the holes are pretty boring. But hopefully the renovation, I think it's kind of what the point was. Gil Hands wanted to make some of the par threes have, more hazards in play. And the wind's going to be up, which will make
Yeah.
it, they'll actually be in play because you hear that a lot of time that there's holes with what, like two at Valhalla for a good example. Water's in play, but I mean, you got to hit it, what, 40 yards offline to find it. So the win this week at in Fort Worth should make, some of these water features that have not been previously in play, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think if I'm remembering correctly, at least the par three changes. 13 on the back is the same, and I like 13. There's kind of that big pond out in front, back to front sloping green. Can throw one back there. It's a good hole. 16, I believe, is moved a little bit farther left, so there's closer to this creek, brings that into play more. Same with 8, a little farther back and a little bit more left. So I think 8 looks the most different, just based on some of the images. And then I believe it's 4 is a very long par 3, but they took out the front bunker, which means you can run it up onto the front of the green. So I imagine that the whole play is a bit easier. Obviously, depending on how firm it is or how much wind there is, running it up, intentionally is probably not an option. But I'd imagine that'll make it easier for short game shots in the front if it's just kind of some tightly mown stuff. But if there is a bit of a false front and balls come back a little bit, then that might be intriguing. But
That's a bad
there is
change. Sorry.
taking out that bunker.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't.
Makes
I'm
it
not a,
easier. I mean, like in fairness, Michael Kim did mention that the changes should make it more easier for the members, which I get. It's it's all about them. It's their course.
yeah,
But I guess from our point of view, watching the pros play, it kind of stinks because what is it, like a 220 carry over
yeah,
that bunker previously? So it required a good long. I mean, we've seen Spieth short right. I mean, Jordan like never hits that hole. So it'll probably make it easier for him, which is good, but I kind of it's a good challenge that hole typically. Not that it's going to play under par. I mean, it's still going to play pretty
yeah,
long, but
yeah. And well, and with the wind too, we'll see kind of how much that blows and how much impact that has. And that's part of the 3-hole stretch, that horrible horseshoe where you get through there in even par and you're doing pretty well. Where 3's that kind of big dog leg left, and then 5 works back around to the right. But plenty of birdie chances, as we mentioned. Although if it is playing tough, that kind of will make it interesting. So we'll see how much that wind is blowing, but it certainly makes me excited. As for Spieth, I really don't know what to expect this week. Like it better not be a miscut, but it kind of feels like I've said this a few times to people this week is like he's not trending one way or the other. He's just kind of like mid at best across the board. And I know the driver's been good, but I feel like it doesn't look like he's having a lot of fun playing. It's not a whole lot of fun to watch him play. I wouldn't say he's like grinding on the course in the way that it's like it looks hard. I think he's just like kind of stuck in a spot of like mediocreness right now. And that's I don't know. It's just kind of like it doesn't look like he enjoys playing right now, which is tough.
no, I mean it's as they say in the NFL world, you'd rather be really bad than be mediocre. I mean, if you're really bad, you're getting a top 5 draft pick or a top 10 pick, and if you're mediocre, you're right in the middle and you're not winning anything, and there's no reward. So that's a decent analogy. Obviously, there's no draft picks in golf, but it sucks to be mediocre. I mean, as you said, it's not fun to watch. It's more of a when he was 3 under through 4, I think the thoughts that are going through our mind is when is this going to go awry, not how is he going to get to 5 or 6 under. And in fairness, he played, the back nine, which was easier. I wasn't expecting him to really light up the front, which was a bit tougher. But it's everything so hard. It's never easy. He just, I mean, he'll make the mistake on 6. Not that it was a bad swing, but you drop a shot there. Kind of talked about it with Bob yesterday. There's just some crappy chipping that leads to bogeys that have typically been pars in his past. It's just never easy. It's not easy right now. He hasn't made it look easy since what, 21 probably, when it was pretty much all systems go, which sucks. But it is what it is. It's, you can't.
21 resurgence was really kind of
Yeah,
cool.
21 was really good. That's kind of the golf I beg for. I mean, screw 15 through 17. He was really good in 21. Should have won probably, what, 2 times at a minimum?
Well, his putting was really bad that year. That's what hurt him, I think,
In
right?
21 was okay.
think-
It was the driver at the beginning of the year, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I guess I'm just remembering the Masters because that did cost him the Masters.
Yeah.
That cost him the Masters.
Yeah,
But
like,
then
he
he
was
also,
Like he was like 67th out of like 68th putting
Yep.
that
Yeah.
week. It was horrible.
he was also very much present at the Open,
Very much present.
and then had a horrible, as we mentioned briefly earlier, a horrible, no good, very bad day on Sunday at Colonial in 21.
Yeah.
So obviously
He was consistent in the picture in 20.
a lot of what ifs, but in the picture at 2 majors,
Yeah.
and
2021
seriously
though,
in the
that's
picture
like
in
he
quite a
missed
few
like that
events.
2-foot putt on Saturday.
Yeah.
Again, like
Yeah.
that's why I thought his putting was bad that year because like the most memorable, like some of the something that cost him wins was some putts.
Yeah, when he really needed it at the majors, there were the short misses kind of crept into at the Masters he made nothing. Quite
He
literally
made
made nothing. And then at the Open, the final 2 holes on Saturday, when he's at the top of the board and kind of, takes control in the sense of he'll be playing in the final group and then goes, I think he like leaves a wedge short from the fairway and then makes bogey, and then I don't know, just kind of a mess on Saturday at the end. But we haven't tasted any sort of contention like that in
Many, many
3
moves.
years, I guess. Yeah, since. I mean, it's like it was his first afternoon tee time on a Sunday in 3 months at least. This past weekend at the PGA.
Yeah.
It's
It's
kind
crazy,
of,
man.
it's been very he's been stuck in neutral. We'll see.
I think the last time I've went into a Sunday thinking he has a good chance to win was at the Valspar last year, honestly. I mean, the Heritage, he had a lot. Oh, no, he played. Where was he at the Heritage?
No, he was.
last
I think
year?
he was final group.
Okay. I'm thinking 21.
So 2 back.
Okay. Gotcha. That's
but
in
then
it, I guess, but
That's probably it, right?
been
That
what,
was over a
400
year
days?
ago.
Yeah. It's bad. I wanted to go back to the PGA for a second because I was kind of just trying to see what Data Golf, like a course comp on how it played last week. Do you guys have any guesses?
On how it played, like as
Yeah.
in other tournaments or other.
Other PGAs in specific. I'm not gonna. How would you say it last week played compared to another PGA?
Well, wait. I mean, in terms of like course fit or like to match like course comps.
A little bit of both, I guess. Like what you needed to do well. Specific yardages. What it asked, what the course asked for.
Would it have been Whistling Straits by chance?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way Valhalla played is very, very closely comped to how Whistling Straits played in 2015. Didn't need to hit fairways really in 15 either, and you had to bomb it, as we kind of saw with Jason Day. Rather long irons at Whistling Straits too, based on what Data Golf showing me here. So they played pretty similarly.
Yeah. Interesting.
They also
Similar
got it
scores
like
as
fairly.
well.
Yeah, that was also like a huge. Day was really far under par as well, right?
Yeah.
I think he got to 20, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. I thought that was interesting. They both, I mean, both obviously favored tee to green, but accuracy off the tee wasn't that important to the straights course either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising because like DeGallo is not very accurate, and he was able to until the last day, partly because he was sick, I think, and had like a rib injury to contend. So because DeGallo is not accurate.
He killed me, really, for our triple double mem. I was looking for like $1 million payday to really jump back in, and he just same with Brooks for Dan and I. Brooks went downhill.
Yeah. Saturday was a tough Brooks day.
Yeah.
Saturday, Brooks and Scotty were like, it's like watching other golfers. So I was like, who are these people? It was not normal for either of them. But
Was
Brooks
not.
also just missed a lot of short putts that he normally, when he does win the major, like he doesn't miss those putts. He
Yeah,
did miss one at Oak
watching him
Hill.
with Spieth, he was missing everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was still
He's
in it.
been
He
missing
was still
that
making
way
birdies.
for a while. Like he's been missing short putts for a while and live as
Yeah.
well.
He had a new putter, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. He had one in his last start. I think that was what everybody was really
Yeah.
jazzed up about. He
Oh, I
still
was
played
too.
pretty well. Yeah, no, I was as well.
Yeah.
Just a 74 on Saturday took him out of it. But
Wouldn't be shocked if he was in the picture at Pinehurst, maybe.
yeah, no, he'll be relevant there. Pinehurst is interesting. I'm
I don't think
excited
he'll
for
be relevant because I
Pinehurst.
think Scotty's gonna blow the doors off the field.
Yeesh. Yeesh. That sucks. I didn't want to get back into Colonial though. I've kind of got a couple mixed feelings. I don't think the fit, as we've kind of talked about, is a good one for Spieth right now. But there are some tough holes at Colonial that do require you to hit driver, and they could be, easy par holes in theory for Spieth without he's hitting the driver. The problem is
Yeah.
they'll be 460 yards, play well over par. He'll hit the fairway, have a wedge in hand, and hit it 35 feet. But he should be able to make some of the tougher par fours at Colonial look easy this week when driver is needed, because it's not like driver's in the bag on every hole. It'll be out for a couple, especially around the horseshoe. A couple tough par fours there where it'll be out, I'd assume. And if he keeps hitting it how he's been hitting it, hopefully those holes will be easy pars and he'll be able to get out of the horseshoe unscathed. I also, after the stats got posted for the PGA, I was looking at his off the tee numbers. Currently, to date, the second best off the tee year of his career.
Wow.
Yeah, only behind 2013. So could be the yeah. I mean, it sucks, man, because this in theory could be the best off the tee year of his career, and you might not win, which is
Ugh.
kind of unfathomable.
Yeah, to think that Jordan Spieth is a machine off the tee and he's not even contending.
Yeah,
Close to contending.
no, it's rough. I mean, you look at the other top four off the tee years. He had 2013 where he won the Deere. 2015 won 6 times, 2016 won 3 times, and 2022 where he won once. So this would be the only one in the top 5 where he didn't win, which is rough.
Jesus.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
I mean, just every other part of the game's not good. Like,
Yeah, he's
he's like
average.
very average.
Not a place you want to
I
be.
think I said this, he might as well be Brendan Todd at this point. That's how average he is and how not in contention he is especially on the weeks that most people, like the casual public, is tuned into, and why he was so popular, because like 2015 made everyone like fall in love with him. And
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is like, I mean, I know ratings were up 10%, but like ratings have been like down a lot this year. And other than like Rory, Spieth could help that out, but he's just not anywhere in contention.
Maybe we'll change it this week.
Maybe.
If I was a betting man, I would not.
Don't have a
put
lot
my
of
money
hope
on it.
though, because I don't think the course fits him very well right now, which
No,
is
I
weird.
agree.
He had like how many straight top tens at Colonial? I mean, he's had like
He had 4 before last year.
exactly, yeah. He's like, it was like the easiest bet in the world that Spieth top 10 in Colonial every time plays. And now it's just, I mean, he's not gonna have driver that on that many holes. His short game is either hampered by the wrist or like he's afraid of some things, or like who knows, but it's not like to his normal standards. And then his like shorter irons like and wedges just are not up to par. They're at
Yeah.
all.
So it's funny you mentioned that because Data Golf's got this tool, the course fit tool, where you can look at the strokes gained adjustments for players kind of based on what the course requires. So Brendan Todd leads at 0.33, meaning per round he'll play a third of a shot better here than elsewhere on average, just because it's mostly because it's a shorter golf course.
Yep.
Jordan Spieth is a negative course fit this week in terms of this stat. He's right with Scheffler. So
Scheffler's not a negative course fit anywhere though.
No, so exactly. So it's not negative course fit isn't the right term. It's more like relative. If you took an average golf course on the PGA Tour, in theory, Spieth is a little bit like his advantage off the tee is mitigated here by a tenth of a shot around, which, given that that's the thing that he does best right now, does not bode well for his chances this week. So
in my model, he is the 20th worst course fit of the
Spieth.
132 players in the
Oh my god.
Elyse, did you see who was the worst course fit for my little model that I did?
Minwoo Lee.
Minwoo Lee.
Yeah, that does
Wow.
not surprise me.
Who's the best course fit?
They're all. I mean, it's all short guys. Zach Blair,
Zach
Todd,
Blair, okay.
Todd 2, Reeve 3.
That
Paul,
might be a good top 40 play. Zach
Yeah.
Blair, I think, would be a good top 40 play.
Michael Block is 7th because they're not. I mean, it's a bunch of short guys.
Yeah.
Because they can actually compete here, which I guess makes sense.
Well, yeah, that's why like literally everyone is on the same people this week.
Yeah.
So Harmon.
This is a week for the shorter hitters.
Yeah. Everyone's on Harmon. Everyone's on like Straka, Hoagie, who else? Yeah, I've seen like so many like
We can get into our triple double
mechanic
plays because
cards.
I got probably quite a few of those chalky plays as part of my theory.
Yes, I'd love to hear your plays.
Alrighty, this is coming from Mr. Last Place here. A little standings update. Bob has reached 20 million. 20,075,000. Dan is at 16.1. So you're in striking distance.
I am buoyed by Mr. Schauffele actually winning a turn.
You have Schauffele last week.
I would like to say while we're talking about it really briefly. I said during the Masters that I thought it was a major too early for Schauffele.
You were
during
right.
the Wells Fargo. Thought it was a major too early. And I'm glad that I stuck with my gut and Mr. Schauffele came through. He was due. Who knows? He could do nothing the rest of the season, or he could be very much in contention. Like it actually wouldn't surprise me if he was like first round leader at the US Open and then just kind of properly Schauffele. But
he's been like first round leader twice in a row now, Quail Hollow and the PGA Championship, and he is like probably like one of the best, if not the best, like first round scoring average this year.
Yeah.
So he's definitely been first round leader merchant, Xander Schauffele.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if he it's just like he just kicks on from here, or if that was his peak. Like that's the best golf he's gonna play this season. My guess is he'll still rack up some T18s, but it feels like or T8s, I guess, because it's Xander. But I kind of wonder if that was his season peak because he played amazing last week. Anyway.
Yeah, although he's been playing amazing all season. That's why I keep betting him all season.
According to Data Golf, is it Xander's peak? Let's see. The answer would be yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
He's the 12th player all time.
Wow.
Well, not all time, since what? They started tracking this in the 1990s.
Okay. Yeah, he is playing really well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a reason why that he hasn't like missed or hasn't finished outside the top 20 in like his last like 13, 14, 15, maybe it's like 20 starts, I think. I don't
Yeah,
know. In like all season, basically.
that's wild.
Long.
Be interesting though. Will it be his peak, or will he continue to trend upwards?
Yeah, I mean, usually like after you win, I don't know. Sometimes like right when someone wins a major, it's like that's like kind of a relief off their shoulders. They maybe start like stop grinding quite as hard. Um, and then they fall back. Other people they win a major and then they rattle off, 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
Kind of propels them forward. So it'll be interesting to see what this does to Xander, whether he'll like that was his peak and he'll fall back, or whether it'll propel him to a couple more victories this season.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be his peak if he continues to grind. I mean, Bob kind of said it in our recap yesterday. He can win more than one major.
Yep.
He's got the talent. I mean, you look at this top 12, I think everyone above him, for the most part, has multiple majors. So why can't he? I mean, you got Norman, he's got multiple. I think Furyk got 1. Rory has obviously 4. Day has 1. Spieth multiple. Rahm multiple. Scotty multiple. VJ. Ty. Yeah. So he's got the talent to win more than one. It'll be interesting.
When Phil finally broke through, he like really broke through and then won a lot. But then you got people like Sergio, when Sergio finally broke through and won the Masters, and I was kind of like, I finally did it. Now I can just relax. And that was kind of like the end for him in finally reaching a Masters win was like the end.
Yeah,
So
it'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting. But
Also,
he definitely has the talent, and I mean, it's interesting. I didn't know this until this last week that he's working with Bryson's old swing instructor,
Chris Como.
Chris Como. Yep.
Interesting. He just went to
That is
Como.
interesting.
He went to Como this year of like, yeah, that's why he's gotten like a lot. He's gotten faster. He's gotten better. Like,
And people changing coaches and winning, huh?
Oh, come on.
yeah, I know. Well, and McCormick is also just like, I don't know.
Sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. It is interesting though. Hovland goes back to his old coach and starts to play good golf again. It is interesting. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what would happen with Spieth. If Spieth left McCormick, he'd start playing crappy. He'd go back to McCormick and be back to being like the 30th player in the world. So he'd go to like 70th without McCormick.
I mean, like Ricky left Harmon, right? And then he started playing worse. And then he went back to Harmon to get a win, but then now he's playing horrible again.
Ricky's
obviously,
just
like Hovland switched around coaches a lot. Like, so 2023 was like him having switched coaches, and then he found Mayo, and that raised his game. And then he, for some reason, left Mayo, which was weird. And then now he's come back, but that, like, so it's possible, like, if he goes to a good coach, he could improve.
the thought. Ricky's funny though. I think with Ricky, it was fully a lack of effort following winning. I just don't think you go from the golf that he was playing up until he won, which was really great. He won and he just went to crap. I just think he stopped working as hard. That's
probably. I mean, he has a kid,
I know.
wife, like,
Yeah.
and it's Ricky. He's like,
He
doesn't
is
seem
Ricky.
really type A. He seems more like type B. So he's more like a chill, like kind of guy, right?
That's wonderful.
Kind of
That'll be
goes with the flow. You have to. I feel like you have to be kind of a little bit more like neurotic to maintain like good golf.
I think
And
the
I
type
just
A
don't see
and
that.
type A and type B reference will have to start being used in one of our group chats a little bit more.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
How would you
But
guys?
I appreciate that. We can get into my triple double plays for this week.
Yep.
It's all
Next year,
chalk.
I'm joining this triple double though. By the way.
All right. So, Dan just put his in.
I did.
Okay, we're on one of the
But
same
we're gonna have a
guys.
deadline next year. Like you have to have your plays in before the pod.
All right.
Fair
Bob's
enough.
probably the worst at that. So
I know. That's why.
yeah,
Bob has a 0 on one of the weeks.
and it's
because he
still
didn't
up
get
on
his plays
Bethlehem.
in.
And if you're not there in time, you get a 0. Like
That's what, yeah, he got a 0.
that happened to Cianjad in first cut. He like some or like and Mark Immelman, I think too, before like they don't have their one and done plays and they get a 0 for that week.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But so I'll go. I guess I'll. All right, I'll go. Shall we go with the play we have together, Dan? Or
Well, what is the play?
all
I'm
right,
gonna
so
guess Harmon.
it's not Harmon. I've already used Harmon twice.
Oh,
Would I have used
Burger.
Harmon if I didn't have used him? Let me see something real quick. Yeah, I would have used Harmon if I didn't use him twice. But the play that Dan and I both have is Lucas Glover.
interesting.
I was debating using him probably a few weeks ago. I remember bringing that name up to Elyse at some point.
Yes, I remember that as well.
Yeah, I don't remember what tournament it was, but going Lucas, I like the course fit, kind of the theme with all three of my guys. So I'll just ramble them down. It's the same reason for all three of them. I've got Glover, I got my man Aaron Rye,
Two gloves.
two gloves. Loved him
We'll
last
keep the
week.
last part of that nickname for him that we have.
Yeah, we won't go there. But Aaron Rye, he's played good golf as of late. He was T4 at Nelson, T39 at the what happened at the PGA? He must have fell off. Because he was, let's see what happened to Rye. Okay, he shot 71 on Sunday, which did not help his cause.
No.
But he played pretty good the first 3 rounds, 68, 68, 70. Like the course fit with Rye, Glover, and lastly is Bezadenhout. I mean, pretty much the same 3 golfers.
Yeah, Bezadenhout's playing probably like the best of his career.
Yeah, I was actually shocked I haven't used Bezadenhout yet.
I've used him twice.
You have? Wow.
Yeah, I used them twice by Valero.
Wow. Yeah, I mean he has been playing really well.
And I got 70 grand out of him total.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna surpass that total this week by using him.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, the thing is with Bezadenhout, so I'm looking at his stats. Like his off the tee is where he's losing strokes, but everything else is positive. Can't play him and you can't play him at a long course. He's not long enough.
Yeah.
This course on the other hand sets up perfectly for him.
Yeah, that's why
I do like that play a lot.
Thank you.
I also like Rye a lot. Glover, so the thing is Glover is like you never know with his putting, but
yeah. Glover, he's been playing well. All the ball striking numbers look good.
What's his putting numbers?
They're not great, but we'll hope that he pops this week. And he's kind of like
fairways and greens, man. Fairways and greens.
Yeah, I feel like he'll make the cut, and if he can roll in 6 figures, that's great.
His course history kind of sucks. But
yeah, it's not good, but it's a new man.
He is playing like the best golf in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going Brian Harmon. Played pretty decently, at least statistically, at the PGA. His course history
is probably more impressive for Harmon because he's not long.
You haven't used Harmon yet.
He wasn't good off the tee. And so that should be better this week. I think he'll work his way into contention. It'll be hot and kind of windy. Maybe he'll blow away. Hopefully not. And then we'll go.
Zalatoris. Zalatoris could blow away in the wind.
Yeah, Zalatoris could. I wouldn't be stunned to see that actually one day. The Open. Anyway. And then straight vibing. We're going Daniel Berger. I don't know when else I'd use him this year. He hit it okay at Myrtle. And I think he's just kind of waiting to get back. Yeah. Just kind of waiting to get back in form. This is a place that he's played really well at. Obviously, the win in 2020, couple top 25 cents. So I don't know. Why not just use it
this week?
I have no idea.
He could be a good long shot play. Course history, T13, T36 with some decent ball striking as of late.
Yeah.
You could do worse, I feel.
He's not that much of a value in my opinion because like he's a big name. So
Gotcha.
I thought I saw him like at 70 to 1.
Oh,
Yeah,
If
it's
it was
not
like more
worth
like
it.
100 to 1, that'd be a no-brainer, obviously. But like there's a lot of people at that like 60, 70, 50 to like 70 range this week that I like better than Daniel Berger. So that, yeah.
you used Burger already once. I used him at the Cognizant
I did.
when you went
No
over
dollars.
when you went over with all three of your plays.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
You're
that
still
was
the
tough.
only person to do that this. Well, I guess Bob had his triple zeros when he didn't play, but
Yeah, I know. Who knows? Maybe this will be the week that changes, but
I
we'll
think.
see.
Have you used Spieth yet? Yes, you used Spieth once.
I used them at Heritage.
Yeah, gave you a nice 86 grand.
For him, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean Bobby has been a Valspar for the miscut. I haven't used him yet. I don't think I'm going to use him. I'm in last place too. I really can't afford to use him. Trying to think of where he would be used. I really don't see
Southwind.
anything. I mean,
Southwind.
he's got to he's got to iron and wedge it better.
The Open?
I mean, I
use
don't
him at
even.
the Open.
I don't even really consider players that are at bad at approach play.
You could see how it goes this week and then try him out at Memorial.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to happen now. He just
He was
can't.
T5 there last year.
Yeah, but he was hitting the ball better last year, at least with the irons and the wedges.
True. We'll see.
I mean, he's like below average in every category.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
I mean, the three this week that I was looking at, pretty base. I mean, it's pretty standard at Colonial. What was it 100 to 125, where he is 125th on tour in proximity.
Oh God.
We have 125 to 150, where he's 82nd, so that's above
Oh.
average.
Yeah.
And then 175 to 200, he's 168.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
club is that? 8 iron through 6 iron ish? 8 through
Yeah.
5? 7 through 5? God, that's
Oh.
horrible.
Yep. It's very bad.
Supposed to be 150 to 175. Whoopsies.
Uh-oh. Model was off.
I know. I'm gonna have to redo this. I don't think
That's
so.
not
I think I'll
good.
probably leave it. But
It's funny, like but as you go like to the longer clubs, he gets better, I think, partly because he doesn't have to hit, as someone said, like he doesn't have to hit down on those clubs as much.
Yeah.
That's
It is more of a sweeping motion.
Yeah.
Very true.
all right,
Any
so speeds from
final-
150 to 175 is 98.
Okay.
Really looking good there too.
Out of like what, 200
he's
guys
below
that have a
average.
tour card?
He's got to be below average on all those categories, right? On tour.
I mean, yeah, he's above average in 125 to 150. I mean, he's 82nd. So like he's
Okay,
above
barely
average
above average.
by 3 inches.
Wow, that's great. I mean, 3 inches is a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
3 inches is a lot.
Mr. Bjork is second. Chris Kirk is fourth. I know a lot of people like Chris Kirk this week. I think Elyse likes Chris
Elyse
Kirk.
likes Chris Kirk. 55
Yep.
to 1.
I like Chris Kirk this week.
Glover sixth from 125 to 150.
Come
Yeah,
on,
I mean,
Lucas.
Glover
How-
is 16th in the Rick Run Good Power rankings.
If Spieth can't win this week, a Lucas Glover triumph. Of course, Bob's gonna play him, but if Lucas
Glover
Glover
isn't
wins, that'd
beating.
be
Nobody's
awesome.
beating Scotty Scheffler though. That's the thing.
Well, I don't know. I'm beating Scotty Scheffler this week. I'm not even in the field.
Is Ted Scott on the bag?
Think about it.
Yes, Ted Scott's on the bag.
All right, so that's the
Oh.
difference maker right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll see.
He's like almost he's like a shot like 2 shots per round, probably like better than like most of the people in the field. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy. Speaking of 2 shots around.
because there's no Hovland, there's no Xander, there's no like any of those guys in the field. The next best person is probably like
Morikawa.
what, Morikawa, and then
Morikawa.
Uma. Like but
Oh,
It's kind of
Against-
funny in my model, at least Scheffler, the course fit is minus 0.4 of a stroke per round for him.
okay, so
Mor-
he's still beating everyone by 1.5 shots per round.
Morikawa is 1/10 of a shot positive, so it's a half a shot between the two per round, and Scheffler is still 7 shots per round better than Morikawa. Like the gap is crazy.
And
Yeah, see,
you know,
that's why the gap is really huge. Like it's
you also probably don't have strokes gained wind in there. Morikawa sucks in the wind.
oh yeah,
and
that's
it's
also
gonna be
true.
blowing this week.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at Morikawa.
So I would fade Colin Morikawa this week. He's also probably gassed because
It's also way too low on the odds board. It's like 12-1. I'm not betting. Like Morikawa has had a lot of problems closing on Sundays, and he's 12-1.
yeah.
Can't
I
get
don't like
behind
Morikawa this
on
week.
that.
He's
But-
also not. I mean, he's okay with the club. He's a little bit above average from 125 to 150. Like he's a longer iron type
It's
of guy.
the
I feel
iron
like.
the
He's
long
not been
irons have been
good
really
that good
solid
with the
for him
short irons.
recently.
It's kind of like Spieth. He's like not been like his normal self with the shorter irons.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I don't like Morikawa at all. I don't know what people see.
The value's not there.
Any
Someone
final thoughts?
someone we have not mentioned that is potentially at play is Billy Horschel.
Billy Ho.
Billy Ho. I think I'm going to bet him. I haven't made a bet on him yet, but I think I will.
Interesting.
You're asking through any other thoughts, Dan?
Yes.
Kind of just the same thought we've been saying the last 3 months.
Play better.
Play better. Like it sucks. Like I mean, last week was a T43, and that's like the best sign we've had.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not great.
Play better, man. There's one green square on that data golf page since Phoenix. That's the Valero. It's a lot of red on there.
Yeah.
Red everywhere except really off the tee. That's been consistently pretty good. But everything else has kind of sucked at one point or another. And he's lost strokes putting in 3 of 5. So the good run that he had, the good run he had in like Florida, is down the drain. So yeah.
He missed a lot of short ones Sunday at the PGA.
Yeah,
it was 2 over. That round should have been 2 under at worst. But
I guess the one positive that I didn't notice until now regarding last week, it was the first time he's been positive in every single tee to green category since the Genesis, if you count that. Pebble, if you count that, because that's missing around, but it's the Century if you don't count either. So tee to green last week was better.
yeah.
Far from where it needs to be, but better.
I will say the PGA numbers are
They're
always
skewed.
a little bit inflated because you get the PGA pros like Michael Block, Rich
Yeah,
Bean,
that's
Tiger
true.
Woods. So
Tiger Woods.
they're not actually, because he gained an approach on Sunday, which is good. He did it also on Friday though, which is still when you have all the boomers in there. So it might be a little misleading.
I'm just trying to be a nice
Michael
benefit
Block
of
would
the
take
doubt
offense
type
if
of
you called him
person.
a
I do think that in general the approach play it's okay. There's just some really horrible swings. There's 1 or 2 that are just like minus half a shot, and it's like, dude, you just can't be hitting it that bad. But we'll see. Hopefully, he keeps it out of trouble this week. So
I mean, I'd say relatively speaking, the approach play is pretty type B.
no, I'm not saying it's great at all. It's just like the numbers are bad because he hits a lot of like 0 shots, and then there's a minus 0.4, and it's like, oof, that's pretty awful. So
Yeah, and the wind will be interesting this week.
yes, it will. Greller will have to be type A as usual.
As usual.
Yeah, well, we know. Yeah, Greller is for sure.
Yeah,
He's carrying.
All right.
Let's
Then.
see. Last thought. This is on pace to be the worst year since 2022. So worse than last year. Worse than 21.
That's fun. Good times.
You guys also know that there's type C and D personalities as well.
Interesting. I could put some words to type C and type D if I wanted to, but we're a PG podcast here to go get that podcast. But, you guys have
Type C
anything
personalities
else?
are known for being conscientious, analytic, and detail oriented. That's definitely not Spieth.
I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, I was as well. But that's okay.
Type
I'll
D
just
though.
say-
Type D is known as distressed personality. It is a medical psychology concept that it describes a tendency towards social inhibition and negative affectivity. The
But
letter
Spieth
D stands for
fans-
distressed.
Spieth fans
Yeah.
are distressed.
We're type D.
We are type D.
Well,
Type D rooting for a type B.
yeah. There we go.
Oh man.
But the only other way I can think to finish the pod is say go Celtics. So
Sure.
yes.
Sure. I'm fine with that.
Go. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All
I'm
right,
fine
cool.
with that. Go
Well, we'll
Celtics.
see.
Well, actually, I'm not fine with that
Yes.
because I'm a Lakers fan. Celtic.
Oh, go
Lakers
Celtics.
can't win.
Live pod Sunday when he wins.
Not happening.
All
See
right.
ya. Take care.
Peace.